Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. For today's quick sketch demonstration of this horse's head, I'll be using just three colours, basically a yellow, a red and a blue. For the yellow I've got yellow ochre. For the red I'm going to use burnt sienna, which is a reddy earth colour, and for the blue I'm using ultramarine blue. As you will see, these three colours work well together to make a harmonious painting. Once again, this demonstration is all about getting to know your palette. Do experiment with different combinations from your palette. You'll be amazed at the range of colours you can make from just a few colours. Try using the three primaries and see what you come up with. So let's get started. The paper I'm using is Saunders Waterford 300-gram rough white paper, and this initial wash is a very light mix of yellow ochre. Just going to paint all over the whole of the horse's head and neck and shoulders, keeping it loose. Very light wash. This I'm going to be working wet into wet. As always, starting with the lightest light and working towards the darkest darks. This is burnt sienna, a fairly weak mix, but strong enough to make a difference. And just letting it blend wet in wet, various patches, just trying to delineate the shape of the head. Just leaving a little white patch there on the top of the nose. Just blocking in the basic shapes. I mean, a horse's head is basically a cone with a ball on the top. If you try and look at the shape. As I said at the beginning, do try mixing different combinations of colours from your own palette and just see what you can come up with. Just darken the burnt sienna. The paper's still nice and damp and everything's blending in nicely, but just not blending as much as when it was first wet, so having a little bit more control over these darker patches on the horse's head. Darkening this area here, this is going to be in shadow, so just want that to be a little bit darker. Again with the ear and the mane where it's flowing over the neck and the top of the head. Just putting some darker burnt sienna in there. Again, it's still bleeding, but not so much, so a little bit more control over the contours of the horse's nose. This is ultramarine. This is fairly weak mix to start with, just to drop it in. And what will happen, although it looks blue at the moment, it will dry grey. Blue and ultramarine blue and burnt sienna make a wide range of greys almost to completely black. So you have a lot of control. And if you blend them wet in wet, they always start looking a little bit on the blue side, but they do dry grey. You just have to be patient. And this is just the underpainting for the mane. I will be putting some much darker patches in later. But as you can see, it starts to build up the the shape of the head. I've mixed a little bit of ultramarine with some burnt sienna on the palette there, just to create that quite dark brown. Just dropping in some stronger ultramarine into that shadow area. And you can see it's already turning a sort of a browny grey. Again, just mix some ultramarine with the burnt sienna to make the really dark grey for the nostrils on the horse, and the lips on the mouth. At this stage, the painting looks it's the ugly stage, and you think, oh, is it ever going to turn out? But you just have to be patient. Let some of these washes dry in a moment, and then move on. The paper's getting much drier now. It's still a little damp, but it enables me to start adding a little bit of detail. As you can see from the palette, all these mixes are made from those three colours: burnt sienna, yellow ochre and ultramarine. And I often let them run together on the palette and just pick up the shade that I think I'm going to need. With these sketches, it's a bit of fun just to mess around with a bit of paint, really. Okay, I've let everything dry now, and I'm just putting in some of the darkest darks, the horse's eye. When you start doing this, the whole painting starts to come together. You get that contrast. When you're painting things like this, horses' heads, or any kind of animal, or anything really, just squint your eyes at any reference that you've got, and just try and pick out the general shapes rather than the detail. The only detail I've put in so far is the eye, and it's already starting to come together. I'm just darkening that shadow on the horse's body there, just to give the painting some depth. As I said before, once you start putting these contrasting colours in, the painting comes alive. I've just mixed up a very strong dark, almost black, with ultramarine and burnt sienna for the detail of the mane and the ears. And even though you can still see some of the blue, it will dry and become quite grey. Just a few final touches really, just to help finish the structure of the body of the horse. It's just a sketch, just an indication of what's there. And I think we're pretty much done. I hope you found this quick demonstration useful. Do try mixing different colours on your palette to see what you can achieve. These exercises are always good practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get, and the better you'll understand your palette. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It always helps with YouTube, and do subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos. And thanks again for watching.